Hello, brother. It's been a while. I'm back. Sorry about the background, by the way. A little bit different to what we're used to. Looks a little bit like a prison in here. Kind of feels like one too. Welcome to Travel Academy. Now, if you've ever thought about going travelling, or you've been travelling and you want to go again, there's some important lessons that you have to learn. And if you don't learn from me, you'll learn from the best teacher of them all, which is the world. I broke the curriculum down into two parts for you. So we'll start with the outside world. Now this is anything practical, anything to do with logistics, getting around the world, people, culture, safety, anything to do with the outside. And then part two will be the inside world, which is anything to do with spirituality, awareness, growth, the mindset shift that you'll have. And it's important that you understand both. Travelling will make you a master of both, a master of the outside world and the inside world. So you need to watch Travel Academy all the way through to understand both parts. That's a lot of yap. I'm not going to waste any more time. We've got a lot to get through. Grab your pen and paper. I'll see you inside. There's no point trying to get information or do research for a trip that never happens. Book the flight first, then we'll talk. You could do all this, watch 100 lessons of Travel Academy, still at the end go, I don't really feel like it. What a waste of time. Guys, I can help you with where to go. I can help you what to do when you get there. I can help you make friends, everything. What I can't do is book the flight for you. You have to do that yourself. And people say, okay, well, I need more time, or they procrastinate, I need to save more money, I'm not ready. Guys, you will never feel ready. You have to go before you're ready. And trust me, when you end up in the world on your own, if you're solo traveling, you will be ready. I was saving this point till last. I was going to do it as like a call to action, lesson 100, book the flight. But I put it first because it's the most important lesson. If you only did one thing on this whole list, it has to be this. Because at least there's a chance that you might learn the other 99 on your own. If you never get on the flight in the first place, I guess you'll never know. There is a version of me that never goes travelling. I'm reading a couple of books on quantum physics at the moment. One of them is Quantum Physics for Beginners. The other one is A Quantum Theory, Quantum Universe by Brian Cox. And I'm convinced that everything that can happen does happen. It says it on the tin. Brian Cox. That means not only is there a world where I never went travelling, but there is a world where I didn't become me. You understand? The rest of your life is at stake. The opportunity cost of you not going travelling is the person you could have become. Lesson 1, book the flight. For about 9 months, so 3/4 of my year trip, I didn't learn a single word of any of the language I went to. I didn't learn a word of Thai, I didn't learn Vietnamese, Cambodian, any of the Philippine languages. Until I got to Malaysia. Now, the Malaysian alphabet's a little bit different to the other countries in Southeast Asia. They use the same alphabet as we do. So you could look at a word, try and pronounce it, and it would probably be right. And I met a guy called Mac, who will be a recurring character throughout Travel Academy. It's only taken 2 lessons to mention him. And he was speaking Malay. We went to a food market in Malacca in Malaysia. And he was speaking to the street vendors in Malaysian. And I thought, it was amazing. I don't know, I'd just never seen it before. Like someone communicate with the way that he was doing and the way that the vendor kind of just opened up. It was almost like 2 different people from when I ordered from him. We were on our chicken satay. When I ordered from him and then when he ordered, it was like speaking to 2 different people. And it just showed how much being able to speak the language opens people up into a realm of connection that you wouldn't get otherwise. And it's, as soon as he said that, I got my notes app out and I was like, right, tell me everything you know. He said, okay, selamat pagi, good morning, good morning. What's thank you? Terima kasih, okay, terima kasih. And I'd write it down and then I'd go out and use it when I went into Indomart. It's the most high return investment thing you can do. It's the low hanging fruit. And if you want to know the low hanging fruit of the low hanging fruit, learn the word brother. If you just learnt brother, in Malaysia we'd say bosku. So we'd say, we'll get some food, you get the food, so okay, thanks. Terima kasih bosku. And they can't believe it. They're like, they don't know what's going on. They cannot believe that like a white guy is spitting like this. Because bosku, it's not exactly brother, it's more like, I guess it is boss. Like, oh, cheers, boss. Like, imagine like a French guy, like a East Asian guy going, oh, yeah, cheers, boss. Like, it's kind of funny because it's more slang than just saying brother. But it definitely opens people up a lot more. And in Indonesia, it was saudara. So saudara is brother. And you can just see the way that people change when you know these words. I'll give you another example. I'm not saying you should learn it for this reason, but other people will perceive you differently. Like other travellers will perceive you differently and respect you more. When we got to surf camp in Bali, that's the most pretentious sentence I've ever said. When we got to surf camp in Bali, but when we got to surf camp in Bali, we got in the minivan and there's an Indonesian guy driving. So I got in. I said, "Selamat pagi, saudara. Apa kabar?" Hello, brother. Good morning. How are you? And mate, the whole bus was just like, "You speak Indonesian?" "Yeah, speak Indonesian. Speak everything." "No, I don't. I only know a few words." But it doesn't matter. Like, based on that conversation, it doesn't matter how much Indonesian I know. I'm having a conversation in Indonesian with the bus driver. So, it's just nice. You have those connections that are different. And if you think about what are we travelling for, it is for connection. And you have those moments with not even locals, but other travellers where you're speaking their language and it's just so easy to do. It takes 2 minutes to learn a few simple words and it's just such high leverage. And I remember feeling, I'd spent 2 months in Malaysia and Indonesia and then I came back to Thailand for my last month away. And not being able to speak the language, it felt like I was travelling with my left arm cut off. Not being able to connect with people in the same way, not being able to just have that moment of energy with locals, it felt different and I was a bit sad. I was like, oh, I miss being in Indonesia. Like I really did feel like a tour. I mean, I was a tourist, but in it, like I felt like it just goes to show how you really feel like you're part of the community and the culture when you're in these countries where you try and speak the language. You feel more integrated. I can walk around Banyuwangi and just be like, like you can do that, but I don't know, you can't do it in Thailand. Yeah, guys, learn the language. A little goes a long way. Do you know what? Maybe after Travels Academy, I'll do like a Malay Bahasa crash course. Like the simple words you need to know. Good morning, thank you, how are you, delicious, all those things. Like the high leverage words. So you can go and speak to locals in Malaysian. So yeah, learn the language wherever you are, put in effort, goes a long way. Lesson 2, learn the language. There's not a better way to ruin your trip before it even starts by comparing yourself to others. Even while you're out there, you could be having the best time ever. You're on tour, you're on the East Coast of Australia, you're in all these cool places, and yet you're starting every day scrolling on Instagram or TikTok, comparing your journey to other people's. And I could do a whole course on why you should delete social media anyway, but I'll keep it travel specific. Nothing's real, and we know this already, but I'll give you a specific example. Someone that I've travelled with was on the phone to a girl that he met, and she was crying her eyes out. "Oh my God, I'm so sad. I miss home, I'm having the worst time ever. Like, I don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah." And he just said to her, "I've just saw your story. And you just posted a picture of you at the beach with the caption, 'So grateful.'" And like, this is it. We all know it. We all know it's true. Behind every travel picture or anything on Instagram, you know, they were crying in the hostel before they took it, right? It's not just me, all right? This happens to everyone. And we all know it's true. If you could carry a button around with you that instantly induce feelings of shame, guilt, self-consciousness, any kind of negative emotion, like you wouldn't press it, but for some reason, because it's on our phone, we're just going to scroll anyway. Like, it's crazy. Like, why would you do that to yourself? It doesn't make any sense. So do not compare your journey to anyone else's. It's your journey, and it just can't be compared. Don't put yourself in that position. And I know I'm at risk of sounding like a hypocrite because I'm posting this on social media, but if you are a creator, an aspiring creator, what I recommend is deleting apps in between posts. So when I was vlogging between Thailand's part 2 and Thailand part 1 and Thailand part 2, so about the last 6 months of my trip, I would record my videos, I would edit them in CapCut, and then when it was time to post at 6 PM, I'd download TikTok, post a video, delete TikTok again. Like I could not have it on my phone. I know what I'm like. If it's there, I'll scroll and I'll ruin my day before it's even started. Why would I do that to myself? I was like, I'm in the best locations. I want to be present. I want to be here. I want to be focused on now and not comparing myself to anyone else. Why would I do that? Doesn't make any sense. So highly, highly recommend it. You will get the most out of your trip if you're just focused on you and yourself and Yeah, if you want to post, that's okay. I think that's an acceptable. It's the only acceptable use of social media is to post. I mean, I'm going to post this and delete it straight after. So yeah, just be cautious of who you're comparing yourself to, because not everything is as rosy as they make it seem. So yeah, lesson 3, delete social media. So a lot of people asked me while I was out there, how are you keeping on top of gym? Like while you're traveling, like you're on these tours and like you're not really in control of what you're eating too much. Like how do you train? Like what do you do? And the answer I always told them was I wasn't. I wasn't keeping on top of gym at all. Gyms in Australia are absolutely ridiculously priced. And because obviously you're moving from place to place, it's not like you're getting a month membership and then really making the use out of it. You'd have to get a day pass everywhere. And I'm sure I saw a day pass at one of the gyms in, I think it was Brisbane, for 50 Australian dollars, which is like £25 for a day. I'm not buying that. Like I'd rather do anything else. I'd rather not go to the gym, or I'd rather do some kind of other exercise. Which led me to the conclusion that push-ups are free. And not just push-ups, other exercises as well, but push-ups was the main one. You can do them in the hostel dorm when no one's there, so you don't look like an idiot. If you've got a private room, do them in your room, do them at the beach. Like you can do them anywhere, and it's free, it's exercise, you know, you get a little chest pump going on, and yeah, like get creative. You don't have to rely on gyms. You know, I was going to calisthenics parts and doing like pull-up, body weight exercises. And then when I got to New Zealand, about 3 months into the trip, I was running every morning up before we were moving. And the benefit of running is you actually get to explore the places that you're in and enjoy the scenery that you're there to do. At least, you know, you can do that with running, push-ups. You look a bit like a loser in the dorm. But either way, you're saving money. And when you're thinking about budget traveling, there's nothing more important than that. So yeah, get creative with your workouts. I think it's important to maintain some kind of physical exercise, like especially if you've been doing it for a while. Like I was going to the gym like quite consistently. I mean, maybe not so much before the trip, because I was focused on martial arts mainly. But like you kind of assume an identity when you're like into health and fitness, that you are someone that trains, you are someone that stays fit and healthy. And then when you don't have that, when you're not doing those behaviours anymore, you're not acting like the kind of person that does that. You're actually not acting like yourself. And I'm at risk of drifting into the inside world here. You know, I'm trying to keep this as practical as possible. But yeah, push-ups are free. Get creative with your workouts. And yeah, don't worry about going to the gym all the time. Don't waste your money. It's just unnecessary. So yeah, push-ups, running, calisthenics, you know what to do. Lesson 5 is that age doesn't correlate with maturity. Now, this is an important point on people, because when you're away, you will meet people of different ages. I mean, my East Coast Australia tour was literally 18-year-olds turning 19. And yeah, there's a group of us lads, all the lads were, 18, 19. And I thought, oh God, like, you know, I'm really not going to fit in with them. Like, you know, I was 23 at the time and they're calling me Unc, like, it's over. And they were some of the most mature boys I've ever met. Like, some of the best lads on the whole trip, for sure. And then the absolute opposite is true. When I got to Perth and I met a guy who was 23, same age as me, who just had the emotional intelligence of a wooden spoon. And we were sat in the hostel, around the kitchen, and he's talking to us, oh, someone's taken my Tupperware. I said, that's right, mate, you know, we'll go and get you a new one. He said, no, it's definitely someone in here, one of these guys. I bet it was that French guy over there. Yeah, I bet it was, bloody French. When he comes in, I'm going to, oh, don't do that, mate. He said, no, I'm going to do it. This French guy walks in and he's holding the alleged Tupperware. And my mate goes, right, I know that's my Tupperware. You're going to get your stuff. You're going to move it, and you're going to give me my Tupperware. Otherwise, I'm going to get up, pour it out for you. Right? Do you understand? That's what he said, right? Could have said, oh, please, mate, do you mind taking my Tupperware? I think that's mine. Sorry about the confusion. No, you had to do it like this. 23, by the way. And I'm watching this thinking, oh God, it's going to kick off. And obviously the French guy's now saying, no, this is my Tupperware. This is not your... And it's all kind of kicking off, and he's popping back at him. And I thought, boys, we're 23 years, you know, are we really going to fight over some Tupperware? Like, it's embarrassing. Everyone's at the hostel's watching, and oh, God's sake. But anyway, we went out that night, and my other mate, Sam, so not the Tupperware boy, just got a text saying, from Tupperware boy, saying, oh, someone's just come into my dorm room. They took the Tupperware from the kitchen because they thought it was free, and they've just given it back to me. So what had happened was someone else had taken it, and he thought it was the French guy that had taken his Tupperware, and now he had a big apology to make. And he did apologise, to be fair to him, but he kind of walked around with his towels in between his legs for the next few days. So I'm glad I didn't really take a side on that. You know, I was kind of in a difficult situation, but yeah, it just goes to show age does not correlate with maturity. I've met people in their 30s that act like kids, and I've met, like I said, you know, the boys on the East Coast, some of the best lads of the whole thing. So yeah, just be fluid when you're meeting people of different ages, because you will. Like, people travel at 18 now. I think that's crazy. Like, the fact that they could do that at 18. I mean, I couldn't do anything at 18. There's no way I would have gone to Australia. So very, very brave of them to do that. And yeah, just understand that don't judge people by their age. Judge them on the content of their character. Age does not correlate with maturity. There's always a lot of talk when you go to Southeast Asia about what jabs you need to get, right? Because you look up online, no one gives you a straight answer, right? I remember being in Australia, because I didn't actually get jabbed before I flew, like an idiot. And I'm like, what do I actually need? Like, I don't even know. No one just tells you, okay, you need this, this and this. There's all these recommended ones, and you just get what you want. Well, that doesn't really make much sense, because you could have none or you could have them all. So I kind of just thought, right, okay, I guess the more you have, the less risk you're at, but then they cost money and there's different factors to add up. So I'm going to tell you right now, categorically, the ones you should get, right? It's not medical advice, but it's the ones that I got and I was fine. So the first thing you should do, obviously, if you're not away yet, is go and talk to your doctor. That's what you should do. I didn't do that. I didn't know how long I was going to be in Australia for. I didn't even know I was going to end up in Thailand. I just booked the flight and, like I said, booked before I was ready. To an extent, that is good advice. I got to Bangkok and I arranged an appointment with the doctor. And I was thinking, oh God, that's going to be a nightmare. Like, they're not going to speak English very well. They're not going to understand what I'm saying. Bro spoke better English than most people probably watching this. Like, he was very, very good, understood everything. I explained to him where I was going, what my plans were at the time. I said, okay, well look, I might go to Vietnam and I might go to Cambodia. I'm going to the south of Thailand eventually, and the doctor was telling me about some cases recently that had affected tourists there. And he eventually gave me a list of the ones that he recommended. So you might get recommended different ones, but I'm going to tell you the ones that I got recommended for the travelling that I was going to do, which was Thailand, Vietnam, Laos and Cambodia. At the time, I'd end up going to the Philippines and Malaysia, but the jabs were still intact by that point. And the theme was they're all the life-threatening ones. So there are ones that you could get, like typhoid and Hep A. I think they're free on the NHS as well. But like, at the end of the day, if I drank a bit of water and I got typhoid, it's not life-threatening. It's not ideal and it's not what you want, but I wasn't going to die. Whereas things like rabies and Japanese encephalitis, like if you get them, like it's over. Like you're done. So they were the ones who recommended me. Rabies, which is 2 shots, Japanese encephalitis, influenza, because apparently there was an outbreak of that in Southeast Asia, and Hep B. So I think Hep A is like the blood one. Like if you want to get a tattoo out there, like you should recommend Hep A. Hep B is slightly different. I think that can be transmitted through food. I think that's right. They were the 4 he recommended me, regardless. So they're the 4 I'd recommend getting. You can travel for a year with those jabs and be fine. Again, probably should go see your doctor. No, you should go see your doctor. But if you're not, you're too lazy, you just think, I want someone to tell me a straight answer. I can't make my mind up, I can't make a decision. JE, rabies, influenza, Hep B. That's it. Job done. All right, lesson, what are we on? 7? Nothing is free. Literally nothing is free. And you're in Southeast Asia, do not fall for it. People will lie to you, they will guilt trip you, they will manipulate you, right? And I'm using loaded words here, manipulation. Guilt tripping is a form of manipulation. If you induce a feeling of guilt into someone for a perceived gain to yourself, that is manipulation. That's what it is. You're not being nice, you're not giving someone something for nothing, you're not having a relationship with them, you are inducing a feeling of guilt to get something in return. And that is what will happen. I was in Jakarta and I thought, right, there's not really a lot to do here. Someone recommended a free city walking tour. I thought, right, great. You know, I don't really have much money to spend. I'm about to spend a fortune on the Mentawai Tribe tour in Sumatra. Let me just do a free walking tour. You know, I can walk around the city, it's free. I did it on my own. So might as well join the tour. I joined the tour, there's a group of people there. And the tour guide, you know, is really nice. Oh, you know, he's telling us things about this and he's buying us like things from different vendors, like different food to try. And when I say buy, I mean things that cost about the equivalent of 10p. But still, it's not, I appreciate the sentiment. So by the end of, when it got to about lunchtime, I kind of thought I'd seen everything that I wanted to, and he was buying a snack so we wouldn't have to stop for lunch, but I was really hungry. So I said, oh, brother, I'm gonna stop for lunch and you go on without me. But thank you so much for your time, and let me pay you back for the things you bought. It was about the equivalent of what, about 40k rupiah, so like £2. Because that was more than the value of what he'd bought me was about 10k rupiah, which was 50p. He said, no, I don't want your money, and became really kind of cold. I thought, well, let me just pay you for what I owe you. He said, no. I said, okay, look, think of it as a tip then. I'm tipping you this money. He said, no tip, because if you tip, it must be €10. So I'm like, okay, that's the game then, isn't it? It's do a free walking tour, buy everyone all these different street food that cost about 10p, and then at the end of the tour, you're going to say, okay, well, everyone has to tip me €10. That's not how things work. Like if you just said, right, this is how the market works, right? It's deception. If you just said, right, we're doing a city walking tour for €10, I'll buy you street food and this is what's expected, that's fine. I probably wouldn't have had like £10. What's £10? Like, it's not actually that much money. I would have probably not gone on the tour in the first place, but let's just say I did. It's underneath, you know what you're getting yourself into. It was just the deception, and it was the guilt tripping. Like, oh, fine, you don't have to pay me then. Like, yeah, I'm not. Like, you told me this was a free tour and it's not. So, yeah, you get that so much. Like, they will try and do things, and I had someone come up to me, again in Jakarta, I don't know what it is about that place. I was just walking down the street, and this guy said to me, oh, like my kids are dying or something, like my kids need feeding. And like, yeah, you do feel bad, but like, I can't solve every problem in the world. Like, this is the thing, like, I can't. I wish I could, I can't. I don't even know if the children are dying, it could just be absolutely lying. It's a sticky one, isn't it? You don't really know, but yeah, it's just that feeling of guilt, like trying to get you to change your behaviour or give something via the emotion of guilt, which I don't like. Just tell me, look, bro, I'm not gonna make you feel guilty. My kid, here's a picture of my kid in hospital. Can I just have like 20k rupiah? Yeah, cool, here you go. Like, that would be better. Like, don't try and induce an emotion on me to get me to behave. That is manipulation. Call it what it is. So be careful of that. Nothing's free. Again, kind of an inside world insight there. But be careful. People will try to scam you. People will try to manipulate you. People, like, it does happen. Like, there's bad on both ends. Tourists obviously do the dirty on locals as well. But you've just got to be conscious and aware of these things. So, yeah, lesson 7. Nothing is free. Plans are supposed to change. So you're one of two types of travellers, right? You're either buy the book everything in advance, plan your itinerary, day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this activity, we get this flight, everything prepared in advance. Or, if you're like me, you book one flight and just see what happens, right? But either way, you're one or the other. But what both of you need to understand is that plans are supposed to change. Even if you've got something that, like, oh, you've got a ticket, like a ferry ticket coming back from a place, but you've just met some people on this island and they're not leaving for another few days. Like, what? Like, don't be so locked into, oh, I've got this ferry ticket and I have to go. Like, you can just miss things. You can just miss that. Like, think of the enjoyment you'd get from missing that ferry, being with these people longer, not having to go through the motion again of, oh, hello mate, how you doing, where you from, which we will be talking about soon. Getting to enjoy being with them and having like a spontaneous experience, and then getting the ferry home. Like, okay, you pay another like 10, 20 euros maybe max on that ferry. You're already in Bali. You might as well make the most of your experience. Like, what? Don't be so. And I'm the worst enemy for this. It's like, if I've booked something, like, I have to do it, otherwise I'm wasting money. But the money doesn't mean a lot now. The experiences mean everything. And there are times where I should have just missed the ferry and had a better time, and I regret it. So, yeah, plans are supposed to change. One time I did actually take my own advice. I was on an overnight bus from Dalat, South Vietnam, to Muni, which is like a kind of a desert biome in Vietnam. It literally is. But I was running out of days. You only get 45 days in Vietnam. I was running out of days, which we will talk about again. And I needed to get to Ho Chi Minh so I could then do the land border crossing to Cambodia. And I just thought, you know what, the stress it's going to cause me to get to Muni, to try and organise a tour, to try and do everything I've got to do, to then get back to Ho Chi Minh, to then do, like, I'd rather just skip Muni completely, go straight to Ho Chi Minh tonight, do everything in Ho Chi Minh in a day and then leave the next day. Like, it just made more sense to me. Even though I'd already kind of mentally planned it out that I was going to do Muni, and I had this kind of like autistic mental model of what I was going to do, I knew that this was now the best thing. So I said to the driver, obviously I'm on an overnight bus to Muni, I said, look, Google Translate, I'd rather just go to Ho Chi Minh. Can I just pay the difference between Muni and Ho Chi Minh and you take me all the way? And he said, yeah. And that was that. I got to Ho Chi Minh. I ended up meeting a mate from home. We hung out in Ho Chi Minh. Did everything I wanted to do, which was not a lot. Don't really like cities too much. Again, we'll cover that. And yeah, I left the next day to Cambodia, and I don't regret it at all. I think I was stressed. I was under pressure. I had to leave Vietnam in this time frame that I had to. And yeah, plans are supposed to change. Go with the flow. It's hard, right? I am someone that's very by the book, but organised, not even organised, just disciplined in what I do. Like I write down what I'm going to do every day. So okay, 9 till 10 I'm going to go to the gym. 7 till 9 I'm going to read. Like I will write down exactly what I'm going to do every time. And yeah, when I was away, it was just nice to have that energy where you just don't know what's happening. You don't know what you're going to do in the next hour. Anything could happen at any time. I like that. So if you can embrace that a bit more, you can be a master of both, which is what we're trying to do. So lesson 8, plans are supposed to change. So lesson 9 is that money solves problems. Now, the idea of money's got a little bit of polarity behind it in this academy because my mindset around money has shifted a lot. I don't think the things I used to believe before I went travelling, and money's not everything. And we'll talk a little bit about that when we get to the inside world. But functionally and logistically, you can't deny that money solves problems. If you've got something, you can just throw money at it. Right? I've got a problem with, I missed my flight. Cool, you book another one. Right, that transfer got delayed. All right, I'm going to book another one. Right, that food's no good. So, money solves a lot of problems. And I'll tell you what, we're going to use this whiteboard to make this point. But whatever you've got, what are the most common problems we get when we're travelling? Well, one of them is loneliness. So I'm sad, I'm in the hostel, and I'm lonely. What am I going to do? Book a tour. And I actually did this on West Coast Australia. I realised, okay, I've actually got no business here. What am I doing? I might as well book a tour. Went away for a week. It was the worst value tour ever. It was like nearly $1,000 for about 6 days on the West Coast. Absolutely extortionate. But this costs money. Tours are one of the most expensive ways to travel of them all. And we'll talk more about tours later in the academy. That costs money. Okay, let's say you're sad because you need a hotel, right? You've been in your hostel for too long. You don't want to sleep in a room with 30 other people in. That guy's snoring. He's doing God knows what. What does that cost? A private room compared to a hostel? Money. Oh, what else have I got? I left my clothes. I went, I did this in Malaysia. I left all my clothes, all my laundry in Malacca. Yeah, all my boxer shorts. Yeah, that's a really good drawing of some boxers. Left them all. Can't go back to Malacca. I'm on the way up north to Cameron Highlands. What do we need? We're going to buy new clothes. Money. And honestly, the mental fog that you will get from all these problems will accumulate over time. And again, I'm trying to dip into inside world here, but you can get rid of this before it becomes a problem with this. So actually look at how much it costs. New pair of boxers, like 10 quid at the absolute max for like a pack of 3, versus the mental fog that you're getting from, I'm so annoyed. Like, just throw the money at it. Throw the money at the problem and it will go away. Money solves problems. Now, there are some problems that money doesn't solve, and we will address that. But for like general logistical things, navigation, ferries, if you want a more expensive overnight bus in Vietnam, 10 quid extra, you get a nice little room laid down. It is worth just throwing money at it. It is. That's the reality. And yeah, throw money at problems. Related to the last one, which was money solve problems, is have a BS fund. Now, I'm not going to swear, I'm going to be a teacher in September, I have to be professional. But you know what I mean? Have a BS fund. Now, there are things that you will spend money on that seem like an absolute injustice. Let's break it down. It's when you're away, people want money from you, you buy things unexpectedly. There are things that you don't mind sticking on the Revolut card. All right, these are things that you would buy anyway. What do we like buying? We like buying accommodation, we like buying transport, you know, that includes scooters as well, or just getting from A to B. You have to spend money on that. Food, I don't mind spending good money on food if I enjoy it. But there are things when you're away that just absolutely demoralise you. And this is where we're going to put the BS fund. And it doesn't have to be a lot. I'd say literally stick about £500 in a separate account. Take it for inheritance if you're travelling with that. If I was going again, I would just liquidate 500 quid of stock and put it in a bank account and be like, okay, if I'm buying things, it's going to come from that money that has grown, not that I've had to work for, because that just demoralises me. So anything that's just a scam. I got scammed for my first Indonesian visa. Rather than applying for a visa on arrival when I got there, I tried to do it online, and it cost me about 125 quid. It didn't say anywhere that it was going to cost that amount until it come through my card. I thought, well, that's not right. Guess what? I never got my money back. So I would have just deducted that from there. Okay, that's an L, 500 quid, but this is money I've already spent. Minus 100, and now I've got £400 in my BS fund. Anything that seems unfair, I mean, you know, tickets for things that you didn't think, if you're riding in Thailand without a helmet, sometimes the police stop you. I mean, I got pretty lucky, but if you get fined, you think it's an injustice, you know, yeah, anything that's just unfair tickets, take it from here, because you don't want to be spending, especially if you're trying so hard to budget, you know, you're a budget traveller, you're staying in budget accommodation, you know, you take cheaper transport, and then you get hit with one of these. Like, it's demoralising. Like, it sucks and it's not what you want. So have a BS fund. It will sort your problems out.